got a question for you guys in game one of today's recap. If you had a vote, who would you vote for right now as the AL MVP? Would it be Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge? Speaking of Cal Raleigh, he's taking on the Mets in the Little League World Series Classic, one of my favorite events of the year. Look at Cal's chest protector. It's all of his teammates from their Little League days. I thought that was a lot of fun. Now back to the game. Francisco Alvarez, El Troll, he has been thumping baseballs lately. That's an RBI double past J-Rod. Brett Beatty drove in a run, but fast forwarding to a weird play. We all know Francisco Lindor is a multi-time Gold Glover. He's one of the most sure-handed guys in baseball. He just straight up whiffed it. So that's an RBI single for Jorge Polanco. Soto, he was getting encouraged, like straight up cheered for it by the kids. They were all saying, do the shuffle, do the shuffle. So the crowd erupted when he finally did it. Mark Vientos, he's going to get a bit of cheers as well. He crushed a 3-run home run. Francisco Lindor even got an RBI back after he whiffed one on a double. And Cal, I mean, it didn't really mean anything because the Mets still won by 3 or 4 runs. Cal has 47 home runs, 102 RBI, 12 stolen bases as a catcher. He's also been disgusting when it comes to the run game. He is throwing out guys left and right. He's been an awesome framer as well. So again, if you had to pick right now, who is the MVP in the American League? Lucky for the Mariners, the Astros got bent by the Orioles. By the way, coming up, you're about to see a team rob 2 home runs of 7 runs total, and they still got beat by 12. How exactly did they manage that? There's one. Jesus Sanchez stole a grand slam from Gunnar Henderson and turned into a sac fly. Gunnar could not believe he was just like, screw you. Jackson Holliday, there he is drilling another baseball. He's been so good ever since his dad told him to flatten out his swing. Jordan Westburg is a straight up freak. A lot of you guys just don't know that going that far as a righty isn't easy, and also he's insanely fast. Like, we're talking Bobby Witt Jr. fast. There's Westburg's 4th RBI on the day. It's on a single. And wait, Samuel Basallo. I didn't even know that he got called up. He's in the big leagues. He got robbed. Jesus Sanchez robbed a grand slam and then a 3-run home run. I want to tip my cap to Dean Kremer, the starter for the Orioles. He's kind of been locking it lately. He had one stinker in between a bunch of good starts, but he goes 7 strong with 7 strikeouts. Jordan Westburg, he secured a 5 RBI day. Ali Rutschman, he also got in on the RBI fun, and Samuel, he did it. His first base hit is a 2-run scorcher, and it was not on a positional player. All right, back to the MVP conversation. Aaron Judge's team has been really hot lately. And check this out. Paul Goldschmidt, who was a longtime Cardinal, he won an MVP with St. Louis. He's getting a standing ovation. He's tearing up. I've never seen Goldie show any emotion. He's kind of been like the Corey Kluber of superstar positional players. He just shows up and plays. And he lined out to the brand new third baseman, Ryan McMahon, who, by the way, McMahon has a 390 on base in his short stint with the Yankees so far. And Caballero, they all knocked in runs, but then St. Louis stormed back with vengeance. There's a 2-run base knock from Thomas Sajasi. Then after Alec Burleson tied it, Yoel Pozo, he punished a baseball. Here's the thing though. Bellinger, he sent one to center, and that was almost a crazy throw from Church in his debut. Grisham, he scores, and Sajasi, oh no, there was an error. The Cardinals, I mean, they're straight up terrified right now, so they intentionally walk Aaron Judge, and Bellinger, he got it past everyone. So it's 6-4 on Bellinger's 2nd RBI. It ended up being 8-4 after Jazz had a fielder's choice, and Goldie, he knocked in one of his own. The Yankees have won 3 games in a row. I have to ask you guys, are they back? And again, who's the MVP? Because we know Cal, he leads in RBI and home runs, but Judge, he leads in WAR, OPS+, WRC+, and all of that. So who would you vote for right now? Can the Brewers get to 15 in a row? The Reds handed them their 14th win with a meltdown 24 hours ago. And usually Terry Francona-led squads don't let that happen in back-to-back games. Now, the lefty starters were stingy. Quintana almost gave up a 3-run tater, but Brandon Lockridge turned it into a sac fly for Jose Trevino. So the Reds are up. And oh my God, Emilio Pagan, he blew another save. This time, it's actually his fault. The save opportunity before, there was a bunch of errors. Again, it was not his fault when the Brewers won their 14th in a row. Williams smoked a 2-run home run. Now it's the Brewers' turn to make some mistakes. Benson, he's on with a rare Bryce Terang error. Noelvi moved him over to third base, and Jose Trevino, he set up extras, which allowed this base hit. Austin Hayes, he ripped it down the left field line. Unfortunately, the Brewers, they will not win their 15th in a row. That's a big win if you're a Reds fan. Now the longest streak in baseball belongs to the Braves, who are surging and trying to sneak back into the wild card. Profar is so funny because he had the catch of the year, or maybe one of them with Denzel Clark a few days ago, and then he drops a can of corn to lose a lead. But lucky for him, his teammates and also himself had his back. So the Guardians put up a 4 spot, but then the Guardians returned the favor with 2 errors of their own. The starter Logan Happy, he is just not happy at all with his defense. Albies had an RBI. Profar, he atoned for his sin earlier. That is a 2-run home run. He has a 1.0 OPS with 10 RBI his last 15 games. Raisel Iglesias has 19 saves. The Braves have won 5 games in a row, but they're still 10 games back in the wild card. Do they even have a chance? The Dodgers are also looking for a sweep, just like the Braves. Kyle Tucker, we're going to talk about him getting booed and a couple different things right after, but Frederick, he got the party started with a 3-run mammoth home run that went over 420 feet. When Ohtani and Betts get on, you can almost pencil in runs like they're just going to score. Pages, 2 batters later, oh my God, Darvish is getting lit up. Andy Pages is so freaking good. The Padres, they did what the Cardinals did, and they fought back. Tatis had an RBI double, and there was another, oh my, Ramon, just call him Long Ball Laureano. That's another home run. He has 3 home runs his last 4 games. He's batting basically 300 with the 155 OPS plus on the season. O'Hearn, just like Tatis, had an RBI double. It's tied on a Jose Iglesias groundout. It is 4-4. Mookie, the standing ovation worked. The Dodgers fan base turned a Trey Turner. You guys remember the documentary where Trey was scuffling, just awful? They gave him a standing O, and he's been amazing since. Mookie's batting .315 with 9 RBIs his last 12 games since the standing ovation. Vesia, he's a dog. He got 5 outs for the win. That is a sweep. The Dodgers are back to 2 games up of first place in the West. Holy back and forth game coming up, and then I promise you guys we'll talk about the Cubs. This Phillies Nationals game was crazy. It's already 3-0 Phillies on Schwarber RBI knocks, and then the Phillies said, we're going to double it and give it to the next guy. Boom! With a 3-run home run. The Nationals said, hell no, this is embarrassing. They tied it in the very next inning off of Aaron Nola, who's up to an almost 7 ERA. He has a 6.92 ERA this season. Abrams, Lyle, Cruz, Tana, the young core all showed up. James Wood didn't actually get the start in this one, but he will show up later. Weston Wilson, he's trying to put the W's in his name. That's a 2-run single for the lead back. Castellanos hit a home run, and Harper, he had a big multi-hit, multi-RBI day. I do want to shout out Paul Dion because he made this game seem a little bit closer. He's had a monster August so far as 5th of the month. James Wood, I told you he didn't start, but he will have an impact. He's facing Johan Duran, who is perfectly fine after the X-rays revealed that there was no structural damage, and then he's confirmed it by being out there. He has 21 saves. I'm so happy that he's okay. One more thing about the Phillies, a health update. I'm beside myself. I am praying so hard for Zach Wheeler and his family because this goes beyond baseball. Blood clots are terrifying, so prayers up for Zach Wheeler. I hope that everything gets resolved and that he's back in no time. All right, now it's time to talk about Kyle Tucker getting booed endlessly by the Cubs fan base, and it's actually getting kind of bad in Wrigleyville. So it's 1-1 against the Pirates after the first 3 innings on some RBI swings from Ian Happ and Spencer Horwitz. Well, now it's 2-1 on a Dansby double. He got to third base because Tommy Pham just could not find a grip. So a double turns into 3 bases on his own bobblehead day. And now we have a lead change coming up. So if you're a Pirates fan, this is awesome. Ben Brown, he got diced up by the Pirates in this inning. He allowed a ton of base runners, and then Joey Bart, he lined a 2-run missile down the left field line. So it's 3-2 Pirates. Tucker's up. He rolled over and then just kind of jogged to first base, and because of that, he got booed. He only has 1 home run his last, 38, 40 games, so Cubs fans are just getting kind of sick of him. I almost can't believe I'm saying those words out loud. The power has completely evaporated. He had 17 home runs his first 82 games. He was on pace to probably get $500 million as a floor as a free agent next year, and now fans are booing him like crazy. But at least the fan base is happy now because Carson Kelly dunked one in no man's land. Seiya Suzuki is in, and Dansby's second RBI of the day secures a W. That was long enough for a sac fly. Andrew Kittredge, the newcomer, he secured his first save as a Cub. The Cubs have won 2 games in a row, and I got a question for you guys. We've seen Trey Turner turn his career around with a standing ovation after he was slumping. Same thing for Mookie Betts. In this very video, we talked about it. So is it time for the Cubs fan base to use their positive vibes in favor of Kyle Tucker? You guys have to let me know along with the MVP discussion between Cal and Aaron. The Red Sox had an interesting day. They picked up a former All-Star. We'll talk about that afterwards. Actually, I just checked. He's not an All-Star, but he won a Gold Glove and a World Series, so we'll get there. The Red Sox made a comeback, and then, hold up. Eric Wagaman, he put the Marlins up first, and then Wilyer Abreu, did he just put down a draw 2 card? Wait, Dane Myers. Dane Myers had the ball in his hand, but then he ran into the wall and dropped it over the fence. Wilyer has 22 home runs and 9 outs above average, so he's been a power defensive monster. Abraham Toro, that's an RBI sac fly, so a little bit of insurance for the Boston bullpen, who folded. Liam Hicks, you just saw him play Xavier Edwards, and you just gotta love this for the kid. Dane Myers, he couldn't rob one, so he decided to hit one. It is 3-3, and oh my sweet baby Jesus, of Nazareth. This Jacob Marcy kid is unreal. This is a lefty-lefty home run on a baseball that was at his love handles. But like, if he had love handles, he doesn't because he's absolutely jacked. He has 4 home runs, 15 RBI, and 6 stolen bases his first 17 games. The Marlins make the comeback and they win it. Now, who did the Red Sox pick up? I kind of hinted at it when we started that recap. Nathaniel Lowe, the former Ranger, the former National. He has been picked up by the Red Sox. Now, don't even use him against lefties. He is absolutely horrific. He's basically been me and you out there trying to hit lefties, like just abominable. But he does have 14 home runs and almost 60 RBI against righties this year with a decent 101 OPS plus, which honestly, if you ask any Red Sox fans, the Abraham Toro experiment is pretty much over. Like, they're done with him. We saw what happened with Andrew Vaughn going from a bottom feeder team to a playoff contender. Lowe had 38 doubles in 2023, 27 home runs in 2022. Maybe remembering that he's a free agent after this year and he's costing himself millions, and being on a playoff contender is going to revitalize him. I think that this is a good move. I like this. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the Giants actually have the worst record in baseball since the Rafael Devers trade. Jung-Hoo Lee, are we seeing this correctly? Did he just bobble a fly ball and then catch it between his little legs? He did. He caught it between his calves. Now, this game took a minute, but the Giants went up 3 on 1 swing. Willy Adames, he was the last guy to score. He basically stole home on a lazy relay from the Tampa Bay Rays. Dom Smith loves it because that's a 3rd RBI. Christian Koss, I've been defending Chandler Simpson for a minute, buddy. I can't defend that one. I don't know what that was. Logan Webb, I haven't said this in a while, but he spun his web all over this one. 7 scoreless with 7 strikeouts. Just some nasty, nasty, nasty pitches. Drew Gilbert, he's on the board. The rookie, he is me for real. 5'9", the short king is on the board with his first career home run. Tyler Fitzgerald, my lord, San Francisco is spamming the power button. This Fitzgerald kid was basically mini Bobby Witt Jr. last year. That's how good he was. Gilbert, he secured his 2nd RBI. The kid is a gamer. Any short guy who's really good at baseball is called a gamer. He's probably been called that his whole life. But the Giants are 6 games back. Can they storm back to make a wild card? One of the easier games of the recap coming up. Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, and Brooks Lee, they all went yard against the Tigers, and Brooks had the grandest of them all. Lewis and Buxton can be an insane duo for years. They just have to stay healthy. And I don't know if Twins fans even miss Correa at this point, especially after Brooks did this, uncorking on a grand slam and also pimping it. So Buxton, he secured a 3-hit day after that. He also stole a bag. The terrible Tigers defense got it to 8 after that stolen base, and there was some bobbles and stuff like that and bad throws. Buxton, he has 25 home runs, 18 stolen bases, a 140 OPS plus. He plays Gold Glove defense. He's a generational athlete, and honestly, I feel like Twins fans are actually feeling pretty confident about 2026 and beyond, as long as health is in order. When Corbin Carroll crushes his 27th home run, goes 475 feet, then Lourdes Gurriel Jr. adds to it before the Snakes eventually found themselves up by 3 runs against the Rockies. Like, if you saw the live bet, you probably wouldn't even live bet on the Diamondbacks because the odds would be so high in their favor that you would win almost nothing if they actually won, and you would have wasted your money. Ryan Ritter, he makes it 4-3 on the 2-run single to right field. Mickey Moniak then reset the score, and he actually flipped the script. It is back-to-back 2-run singles, and guess who's coming up next? Well, not on the swing, talking about who's running around the bases. Warming Bernabel, one of my favorite TikToks ever. He flew around from first base on the double from Fulford. There was a scary 9th because the Diamondbacks loaded them, and they actually made it 6-5 on a James McCann sac fly. Ketel Marte then hit one to the Bermuda Triangle between second, first, and the pitcher. Juan Mejia, he held on. The rookie, he secured his first ever save by almost getting hit-sticked. You guys are about to see 6 home runs in this next game. The Halos, they're still in Sacramento. Joe Adell and first name Nick, you guys know the drill. We'll talk about that in a second. Joe smacked his 26th home run. He's been on fire this year, and especially over the last 2 or 3 months. Nick, first name Nick, last name Kurtz. I'm not trying to get demonetized. He pummeled his 25th home run. He is the closest thing to Yordan, who was the closest thing to Big Papi that we honestly have ever gotten. And Nick, he's that guy. He's batting 400 his last 34 games. Shea went Bangaliers again. If this home run derby A squad comes to Vegas, they're going to sell out a lot of games just because every time you show up to the ball game, Kurtz and Bangaliers and all of these guys, Rooker, are just going to be hitting home run after home run after home run. Christian Moore, hey, that's a 2-run poker flair thing. So 2 scored to make it 5-2. Another guy who hits a lot of home runs. Lawrence Butler, it's 5-4 on his swing. And then Luis Urias lined it to right to score the game tire. So we have to go to extras. And the Halos started teeing off. Joe, he had 3 base hits and 4 RBI on the day. Luis Rengifo, he got it past everyone for a 2-run triple. And speaking of getting it past everyone, Zach Neto, 440 feet for the Magneto. 25 doubles, 21 home runs, 21 stolen bases while basically missing the first month of the season. The Angels are 7 games back. Can they make it? The Texas Rangers can get within 5.5 games of making a playoff spot if they can beat a juggernaut Jays team. Marcus Semien and Captain Kirk, they traded home runs, and then the Rangers offense got a little bit angry after that. Jake Berger made it 2-1, and Jonah Heim, that is a ripper up the gut for 2 more runs. Seager and Wyatt are both about to lift some baseballs over the fence. Seager has a 140 OPS plus. He's got to be a Hall of Famer, right? Like, he's won 2 World Series MVPs, and he's one of the best offensive talents ever at his position, and he's been a stud defender this year. Langford has 17 home runs. Now, the Jays did bounce back a tiny bit. Vladdy has 21 home runs and a 150 OPS plus. That was it off of Nathan Eovaldi, who is supporting a sub 1.8 ERA still, with 6 more strikeouts over 7 innings. Springer went 440, Jesus, and then Evan Carter, he did not go 440, but he did match Springer with a 2-run home run. What are the chances that the Rangers make it at 5.5 games back? What did the White Sox feed Lenyn Sosa? Home runs after home runs. I mean, Jesus, it is one after another. Edgar Caro, that is a 2nd run for Davis Martin, who took a no-no against the Royals into the 6th inning. Yes, he ruined it with 1 out, but with 87 pitches, he probably wasn't going to go 9 innings anyways, but he does go 6 shutout. There goes Davis's chance at a W. India had 4 home runs in the entire first half. He has 4 already in the second half. Maikel Garcia, he's been a god with runners in scoring position for as long as I can remember. It's 3-2 Royals. Salvi added 1 more. And no, like, actually, what is going on? Adam Frazier has been reborn. He had a 65 OPS plus for the Royals last year. He must have felt bad about that because now he's batting .330 with a 130 OPS plus. Just insane. The Royals, they're 4 games back. And there we have it, another recap in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the Web Gems.
And he's going to be in for a base hit. Bader's around third, heading for home. Here's the throw by Cruz on 1 hop. He is out at home plate.
Penn as Steer hits one hard off the glove of Durbin. Throw to first base is going to be in time.
Takes one to right center field. Pages running after it. It's at the wall. At third for Cronenworth. Fermin is thrown out to left field. Profar over. Diving catch. Yeah, the go-ahead homer in the 6th. And
Rooker lines to left center. Teodosio's over. He dives and makes the catch.
Boy, he is. And that one right back where it came from. Knocked down at short. And the throw to first is just in time.